all know Jason, Freddy, Michael Myers, and Chucky. These names are synonymous with the slasher genre, but that doesn't mean there aren't some great gems out there with less recognizable killers worth your precious time. Before we begin, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Every new sub helps us achieve our goal and keeps us motivated to create new content. With that being said, I'm your host, Jamie, and here are 10 underrated must-see slasher films. Number 1. The Stepfather. 1987's The Stepfather is a well-crafted thriller and a tempered slasher. This would have made it stand out in the height of the slasher craze, and its quality would have placed it as a titan amongst them. The Stepfather follows the life of a serial killer who moves from family to family in order to kill them. The patience of the killer, as well as meticulousness, make for an engaging story. Terry Quinn plays the stepfather brilliantly. This should come as no surprise now, as he would eventually become an Emmy winner for his role in the cultural phenomenon that was Lost. Quinn also returns for the sequel. Stepfather begins with Henry, played by Quinn, and the aftermath of the family he's finished murdering, only to begin the process all over again. He assumes a new identity and seeks a new family to prey on. The difference this time around is the daughter grows suspicious of her now stepfather. The film has a howdunit vibe and is thoroughly engaging and entertaining. The Stepfather is also loosely based on actual serial killer John List. You can watch the film on Peacock, Prime, Google Play, Tubi, Philo, Freevee, Plex, Sling, Fubu, and Fandango. Number 2. Tourist Trap. Tourist Trap was released about 5 months after Halloween rattled audiences on October 25, 1978. It became the then biggest independent film of all time, providing a formula that is still a gold standard for the slasher genre till this day. Screenwriter David Schmoller of Tourist Trap originally intended for John Carpenter to direct Tourist Trap, which wrapped in 24 days at the end of March 1978. So, no one working Tourist Trap would have seen Halloween before they made their film. Tourist Trap follows a group of teens, many that look like they're in their early 30s, who get stranded on the roadside. Uh-oh. They stumble across an old cowboy redneck who lives in a wax museum with his brother. Tourist Trap is similar to House of Wax in the sense that corpses become wax mannequins, only in Tourist Trap there's a supernatural event. Oh, and if Becky looks familiar and you can't quite place her, it's Tanya Robert, rest in peace. She played a Bond girl in A View to Kill, as well as Midge, Donna's mom on the hit show That 70s Show. You can stream it on Peacock, Prime, Tubi, Freevee, Sling, Fubu, and Redbox. Number 3. Madman. Madman, released fittingly in October of 1981, opens on a campfire scene where one of the old camp counselors regales the kids and younger counselors about the story of Madman Mars, who murdered his family with an axe. Mars' abandoned house resides not too far from the campfire, and if you speak Madman Mars above a whisper in the woods at night, he'll show up and axe off your head. The film was probably written off as a Friday the 13th imitator, but the campfire opening sequence in those films tended to be recaps, so those sequels would have actually been released after Madman. Madman is honestly a better film than a good chunk of those Friday the 13th sequels too. Despite bad acting and some clunky editing, Madman is fairly entertaining with a lot of blood splatter looking like bright red paint. Its character stupidity is more often unintentionally funny than annoying, and there are a crap load of cool deaths. Madman was far from a critical or commercial success upon its release, but it fared well within a now bygone drive-in circuit and subsequently the home movie market. Stream it over on Prime, Fandango, Google Play, or Tubi. Number 4, Just Before Dawn. Director Justin Lieberman is a prolific cult horror director known for 1977's Squirm and much later 2004's Satan's Little Helper, which is a fun one too, in my first experience with the director's work. Lieberman took a stab at slashers with 1981's Just Before Dawn, which was released around Thanksgiving. The film opens with a pair of hikers exploring an abandoned church. They separate, and one gets skewered in the crotch with a serrated machete by a half-giggling assailant. I can't deny this is a hell of an opening kill. Just Before Dawn follows a group of college kids traveling via camper who set up camp in the mountains despite warning. There is a cut version of the film that's about 10 minutes shorter with most of the gore removed, but I can take a wild guess that none of our viewers want that. It's revealed that there aren't one, but two killers. Hello, Sydney. And they are deformed, inbred twins. Lieberman took inspiration when writing Just Before Dawn from 1972's Deliverance, which features a bunch of backwoods rednecks. Find this hidden gem over on Plex. Number 5, The Burning. 1981's The Burning was produced by now disgraced rapist Harvey Weinstein and written by his brother Bob Weinstein. The film opens with a bunch of jackass teens played by adults who play an inherently stupid prank on the camp caretaker. They place his skull with candles on the end of his bed. So this was never going to end well. In a fright, he ignites the bed. The fire eventually reaches a gas tank, setting Cropsey and his cabin ablaze. Cut to 5 years later. A horribly burned, but alive, Cropsey is trying to make it with a prostitute, but she rejects him. In a rage, he kills her and takes his revenge on campers. The fact that The Burning is an incel wet dream brought to you by the Weinsteins adds new context to the film given their misogyny. It is a mean film, but not a bad film. We really are here for the kills after all. The Burning features plenty of great ones from gore effects wizard Tom Savini, who was hot off the seminal Friday the 13th. The Burning was definitely trying to capitalize off the success of that film. That Ninja Studios' very own short film, Cabin of Blood, took inspiration from this film. You can view our short on this YouTube channel. Be sure to watch that and then The Burning over on Tubi. Number 6, Cherry Falls. 1999's Cherry Falls stars the late Brittany Murphy, who we lost too soon, playing the film's protagonist, Jody Markin. The film involves a serial killer who specifically targets virgins, which is an interesting twist for the genre. There was a time, in the classic days of the slasher, in which it was a trope that virgins were the ones who would likely survive. Jody's father is Police Chief Brent, investigating said virgin murders. He's played by Michael Biehn, who is most famous for playing Kyle Reese in the classic film Terminator. Cherry Falls was originally set for theatrical release in the USA in November of 2000. However, it was prevented from happening due to a censor squabbling over the film's cut. Cherry Falls was instead initially released on the USA Network. Incidentally, that made it the most expensive TV movie ever made with a $14 million budget. Cherry Falls is more topical now post the Me Too movement. While it gives the viewers satisfying, even ruthless kills, it also critiques sexual hierarchies. It's equal parts silly and serious, and according to the film critic Tracy Thurman from Bloody Disgusting and the Horror Queens podcast. Although marred by edits made to satisfy a post-Columbine world, Cherry Falls still manages to be one of the more effective and funny post-Scream slashers. Stream it on AMC Plus and Philo. Number 7, Blood Rage. Blood Rage, opening credits label it as a slasher, was released in 1987 as Nightmare at Shadowwoods. Actor Ted Raimi makes an appearance at the beginning of the film, selling condoms, 6 for $1, by the way. Ted Raimi is Evil Dead director Sam Raimi's younger brother, who frequently makes appearances in his films. He is most known for playing Joxer in 90s hit show Xena, Warrior Princess, also produced by Sam Raimi. None of this is related to Blood Rage, I just thought it was interesting. Anyway, Blood Rage starts out at a drive-in theater in Jacksonville, Florida. And we all know how stories in Florida go. A mother, Maddie, is making out with her date in the front seat of a station wagon. Her young twin boys are sleeping in the back seat. Their names are Terry and Todd. They sneak out of the car and Terry finds an axe. He takes it to the face of some jock fooling around. This whole scene hints that Terry reacts violently to anything sexual, especially related to his mother. Todd is understandably traumatized by his brother brutally murdering someone in front of him. Todd can no longer speak because of this, so Terry frames Todd for the murder. Unfortunately, the completely innocent Todd is then institutionalized. 10 years later, Todd is still institutionalized, and Maddie is just announcing her marriage to her longtime boyfriend. This sets Terry off on a killing spree again, which I don't entirely get, as Maddie's boyfriend would have been seeing her that whole time. In a complete coincidence, Todd also escapes from the institution. So who do you think gets blamed for the killings? I love that after Maddie found out Todd escaped, there is a brief scene where she is sprawled out on the floor, stress eating mac and cheese and green beans straight out of the refrigerator. Blood Rage is a brisk, albeit silly, straightforward slasher with a lot of entertaining kills and an unintentionally funny performance from its killer. You can stream it over on Fandango. Number 8. Pieces. Spanish-American film Pieces opens in 1942 with a mother berating her young son, Timothy Reston, comparing him to his father after catching him putting together a puzzle of a nude lady. Timmy snaps and brutally takes an axe to her head multiple times, hiding in the closet when police arrive, telling them a lie involving a story about a murderer. Pieces was released in 1982 in Spain as Mil Grottos tiene la noche, directly translating to The Night Has 1,000 Screams. Director Juan Piquer Simon would have been known at this point for adventure films, including an adaptation of Journey to the Center of the Earth. The next scene in Pieces takes place in modern day, or the 1980s, where a mysterious killer chainsaws a female student's head clean off on a college campus. In broad daylight, I might add. Somehow, no one saw this, but whatever. The killer makes off with her head, and a whole police investigation begins as murders continue. Most of the audience will probably figure out that the murderer is a young boy from the beginning, now middle-aged, but which character is the mystery. What we don't learn immediately is that the killer is hacking people up into pieces and putting them together like a puzzle. If you're a fan of the giallo narrative and aesthetic, Pieces is right up your alley. You can stream it on Peacock, Tubi, Plex, Fubo, or Philo. Number 9. Hell Night. 1981's Hell Night stars Linda Blair as Marty Gaines, whose most prominent role was the demon-possessed tween Regan in 1972's horror classic, The Exorcist. The film sees a fraternity staying a night in a mansion which a husband, Raymond Garth, killed his entire family and then committed suicide, which is very Amityville horror. The body of the deformed son was allegedly never found and is still believed to be living in the house. And by house, I really mean more of a castle that was isolated from the town and never modernized. Hell Night would have stood out at its time as the production value is quite good considering its $1.4 million budget. The director, Todd Desmond, had previously filmed Done Gay Porn. Not a punchline, just interesting. Frank Darabont and Chuck Russell, who served as producers on Hell Night, would later reunite on A Nightmare on Elm Street 3: Dream Warriors, which also boasts an impressive production design. The infusion of haunted house elements would have differentiated Hell Night from its contemporaries as well. There is a lot of interesting dialogue thrown around too. Marty, for example, acts as a voice of class consciousness. Keep in mind, this is a Reagan-era film, who was notoriously anti-union. Watch Hell Night on Peacock, Sling, Prime, Google Play, Tubi, Zumo, Plex, Freevee, AMC+, Philo, or Fandango. Number 10. Bloody Birthday. Producer Gerald T. Olson, who would go on to produce hit comedies like House Party and Dumb and Dumber, started with his modestly reviewed 1981 slasher, Bloody Birthday. The film opens with 3 different children's births, all who happen to be born during an eclipse in the same hospital. The following scene takes place 10 years later, where a couple is fooling around in a graveyard. Yes, a graveyard. They were practically asking to die. And like clockwork, they are picked off by an unseen attacker. Bloody Birthday reveals that these 3 different children are sociopaths, bonded by bloodlust, and work together to kill people in an often sadistic way. I definitely saw some archetypes and shots ripped directly from the original Halloween, including the protagonist being smart and innocent, while her best friend is ditzy and loose, with her father being a cop. And the track shot along the sidewalk when we are first introduced to the two as friends is directly from Halloween. However, Bloody Birthday doesn't follow the standard beats of a slasher. It's possible that it's because the slasher genre was still in its infancy, so the structure and tropes we are used to were still forming. There aren't a lot of blade weapon type kills or attacks. There isn't a mysterious mass killer stalking teens at a camp, or even kills during the night. Bloody Birthday has 3 elementary school psychopaths assaulting and killing anyone at any time. And they are smart enough, at least the young girl is, to get away with it. And no one suspects them. Bloody Birthday flirts with the concept that our lives are, at least to some extent, predetermined by our birthday and how the planets align. It doesn't explore fate much beyond that though. You can stream it over on Tubi, Google Play, Prime, and Fandango. Thanks for checking out the video. Did we leave any films off the list? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to tap that bell icon to stay up to date with our latest releases. You can reach out to us on Twitter or X at Studios Fat, or chat with us on Discord, linked below. We're also now on Blue Sky. You can find us at studiosfat.bsky.social, which will also link below. If you're really enjoying our content and want to help support us, click that join button for exclusive content, rewards, and perks. Make sure to check out our very own merch store located at fatninja.shop. All proceeds go towards our next film project, so we'd greatly appreciate it. I've been your host, Jamie. Thanks again. See you in the next one.